6:47 on a beautiful start to our weekend. I mean, really, temperatures are in the 50s and 60s right now. So what are we tracking over the next week? This time of year, usually you'd be tracking craziness in the weather department, but doesn't look that way. Just some weak cold fronts, periods of wind off and on, and oh yeah, Halloween's coming up. It's a couple of days. Where's the ice storms? Where's the snowstorms? Where's that? Well, they're not here. Bottom line. It's 62 right now at Underwater Connection at I-25 and Garden of the Gods. Wind is calm. It's usually this time of year, if it's warm, the wind must be blowing. We don't even have the wind to deal with, so it feels a little bit like a summer morning when you step outside. It's absolutely gorgeous right now outside. 56 degrees at the Pueblo Chieftain Studio. A few clouds off to the left there downtown. If you look real close, it depends on the quality of your TV screen, you might be able to see a sliver of the moon there, kind of middle of the screen, just underneath the 6th Street there in Pueblo. That's about all I have to tell you about this morning, outside of a couple of showers that were up in the Continental Divide here earlier in the overnight period. But those have already fallen apart, and we expect that those will continue to do so if there are any left out there. So as we go into the afternoon, Skycast shows just a few clouds around. Our temperatures, as mentioned, are going to be way above seasonal averages once again today, generally in the 70s and 80s at lower elevations, 60s and 70s over most of our mountain areas and mountain valleys. You get up high enough, say Leadville, for example, we might find some numbers that are in the 50s. And that's an indication of some slightly cooler air that's coming our way, but that really won't settle in until tomorrow. So for today, we're expecting most of you along the Arkansas River to reach the 80s. We'll have 70s on the higher terrain south and west of town. It will be a little bit breezy. We could have a few gusts, maybe around 20 miles an hour. But for this time of year, that's really not bad, especially with temperatures being this warm. 70s to around 80 through most neighborhoods in Colorado Springs. Once you start heading south of downtown, we'll jump into the 80s for Fountain and for Hanover, for example. Mountain areas in Teller County looking at 60s to near 70. Keeping up on the top of Pikes Peak will be in the mid-40s today, which, again, not surprisingly, is pretty unusual for this time of year. Overnight tonight, Skycast doesn't show much in the way of sky conditions becoming any different than they're going to be throughout the day. And this is even with some slightly cooler air moving into the area. So I don't think when you wake up tomorrow morning it'll be quite as warm. I mean, the only indications of this front, you see here at midnight, Skycast picks up on some low clouds in northeastern Colorado. And we are going to have a little bit of that cooler air filtering into the area, so our temperatures won't be quite as nice tomorrow, but we're still talking about 70-ish in Colorado Springs, so fine, we go from 80 to 70, it cools off. Bottom line, tomorrow doesn't look bad. Neither does Halloween. We might actually warm a little bit on Halloween, back into the mid-70s. There will be another cold front which will cool us into the 60s for the balance of the work week. Still a little bit above seasonal averages, but not as warm as we're going to be the next couple of days. And so I would likely think that as that's coming in here, Halloween during the evening hours might be a little breezy. It is not going to be a bad night for the kids to be out trick-or-treating, but not as warm as it's been the last few evenings. So just make sure that they're ready for that. Probably should have a coat on, at least a long-sleeve shirt, because that breeze, once the sun goes down, it'll be a little bit cool. Pueblo, 70s tomorrow, back up to the lower 80s on Monday, then 60s to lower 70s for the rest of the work week. Periods of clouds. On occasion, it'll be a little breezy, but overall looks real quiet as we head into November, and obviously pretty warm. Canyon City, 75 tomorrow, upper 70s on Halloween, then into the 60s to near 70 Tuesday through Friday. Overnight lows most nights in the 40s, but we might actually stay closer to 50 tomorrow night. That's again because of an approaching cold front. Helps to stir the atmosphere up a little bit. That's what's kept us so warm this morning. Teller County will have you in the 60s tomorrow and Monday, and then probably 50s the rest of the week. Couldn't rule out a brief shower maybe on Thursday. I think those chances are a little bit better over the mountains south and west of Pueblo than they are in Teller County. Either way, they're not going to amount to very much, but I'm grasping at straws here to try to come up with something to tell you that sounds halfway interesting. I mean, I feel like a thief up here taking money to tell you about what's, not happening in the weather department.
It's true, it's true. We've had beautiful weather, but, can't complain. It is just gorgeous. And for those trick-or-treaters, they are lucky. We have some good weather coming up.
Anybody who's been here for a long time knows that trick-or-treating on Halloween can be an adventure in the weather department sometimes. So it looks pretty decent.
That's great. Thank you, Marty.
You're welcome.